Hi, and welcome to another episode of Wine and Wisdom. I'm Thomas Hoang, and you're listening to the TL podcast, where knowledge is shared and no one takes themselves too seriously. Stoics December, meditations on mortality. It's funny, isn't it, that he brings about life's too short and death and the fact that in the end it doesn't matter anyway. Even if you're angry at somebody else, in the end they may leave this planet before you. You may leave before them. Really, in the end, who cares? It's funny that it's in the month of December, isn't it?
It was such a depressing month, wasn't it? You're gonna die. You're gonna die. There was first 10 pages where pretty much you're gonna die. You're gonna die.
And it's made the same message really that we've heard in the book over and over, just condensed into these pages.
He spent 11 months getting everyone pumped for life, and then just spent the last 30 days telling everyone they're going to die. So
I didn't see it that way. I think if December 1st, if you can pretend that today's the end, I love that how he talks about, he used the analogy of the soldiers. Yeah. When a soldier leaves home, what does he do? I mean, he probably makes sure that his will is right. He also makes sure that he spends probably whatever time left he's got with a family, just family. Yeah. He probably makes sure that he's quick and short on business, and he makes sure that he won't get involved into conflict or fighting stupid disagreements. Yeah. And I think that's the beginning of December 1. How many of us really live our life thinking we're going to live forever? Therefore, let's spend a majority of our life into petty conflicts and disagreement and thinking negative about our life.
Yeah. And I think day 2 sort of talks about the other side of the coin too, where we are all going to die again, just in case you hadn't realised. And how many people are ignorant of that fact, so don't really do what they want to do in life and don't get out of life what they want, and then go to their deathbed with so many regrets. It talks about the ignorance of people who don't accept the fact that yes, we're dying, so and don't live their life accordingly, so through fear. So yes, there's being the day 1 side of the coin where you're prepared for it and you can understand it, and then the day 2 side of the coin, which is because you're aware of it, you hopefully don't let much hold you back in life, because at the end of the day you're going to die anyway.
Yeah, I think that I'm enjoying my wine. I don't know about you, Ken.
Mine's good, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure that
it hasn't made you look any better, so it must be high enough in alcohol content. But
and again, you're the only one in the dark. So don't talk too much. Don't talk too much, man.
He's got a face for radio.
I can't move the light. I don't know what's going on in here.
Actually, it's good. It's good that we have you in the dark. It's actually
as I said, mate. That's the way my wife prefers it. I didn't really get back into it till day 8. I thought day 8.
Really? Yeah, I love day 3, where he talks about the ability to, which is what we're doing. We every week now we're spending time together, or it used to be every fortnight. But what we're doing is we're stirring each other. We try to philosophize about certain things, and I think that it's where Cicero was saying to philosophize is to learn how to die, but also how to live. And I think that, man, day 3 is a beautiful thing. I think the only purpose of life for us is sure to live a good life, but really to learn to philosophize, to know about ourselves, to know what we can do, and to see where we fit in this time, because that brings us way more fulfillment than the chasing or the blind pursuit of material things that actually he says in December, when we leave, well, we leave without any of that anyway.
Yeah, because we're all going to die, right?
Yeah, there was a page towards the end of November, and I think it was titled, or at the end of it, it said, "We're going to be okay," and it tied in a little bit with the video that you showed out in Power with that girl that was on
yes.
America's Got Talent. And we've watched that a bit in our house, actually. I was telling my brothers about it because we had a thing here for Jordan's birthday the weekend after in Power. And he listened to the song and he loved it. So he's actually asked a few times to listen to it before he goes to sleep or whatever, and showed my family the video of it, and they all loved it too. But I think it opens your eyes to things when you see someone that's in that kind of a situation, and how she spoke about it and how differently she looked at life. And, she said, I think there was a line and she said, I've only got 2% chance to live, but the way I look at it is 2% is better than 0.
Yes.
And it was really refreshing, and it tied into this this month as well, that, things like that are going to happen in life. It is part of life, unfortunately. People are going to die. People are going to come and go from our lives. But day 7 talked about the cards that you dealt. And one of the things it said on there was, if you died and you were resuscitated, how different would your perspective be then? And it's not until things are taken away from us that we probably appreciate what we've got, or what we're grateful for things often. But if it was down to a life and death situation, I think your perspective would be very different. And people that have been through that, their perspective would be very different. If they've lost someone close to them or a friend, they do look at things differently to some of us that maybe haven't had things like that happen to us on a close level.
I think a lot of us went through that when lockdown happened last year. Like, obviously it wasn't someone dying, but we'd had our freedoms taken away from us at the drop of a hat. And I think that we saw a lot of, obviously in our industry, we're seeing a lot of people move house, a lot of people move areas because they've realised they're not where they want to be. A lot of people move jobs because they've realised they want to be not where they want to be. And it's a similar sort of thing. Obviously people weren't resuscitated. They were put on bloody ventilators. But, it was a similar feeling, I think, for a lot of people. Oh, here's my second chance. I've been brought back to life. Now, what am I going to do with it? And it'd be interesting to see if that effect continues after this. I think
we didn't get it.
Day 8's interesting for me. Sorry?
You glitched there for a second, mate.
I'm glitching?
Yeah, the last 10 seconds.
I didn't have anything into. Oh,
okay.
I was just saying that. Well, day eight for me was, it's an interesting concept. It talks about dealing with grief. It's something I came across earlier in the year when my wife's grandfather died. I was sitting out the front of this nursing home and all the family are in there, and they've gone to see a dead body that had been sitting there for a number of hours waiting for people to turn up. And I sort of sat in the car park. I didn't want to go in. But while I was in the car park, I thought, how am I going to help my wife deal with this? What would the Stoics do? I don't remember coming across anything to do with the Stoics and grief. So I Googled it, and there was actually this page that came up, day 8 from December came up, and it talks about grief. And the Stoic philosophy on grief is probably the exact opposite of what most of us do. We like to wallow in it. We like to drag it out, whether it be intentional or unintentional. When people ask us if we're okay, we say, yeah, we're fine. And we put on a brave face, and it probably drags on for days, weeks, months longer than it should because we're doing that. Where the Stoic philosophy is, no, sit in it, accept it, hurt from it, go through the pain. It's okay to be in pain, live every bit of that pain, because you'll come out of it a lot quicker and be able to move on with life a lot sooner. And it was interesting on that day. I remember that day sitting in Penrith in the nursing home car park, and probably the wrong time to try and talk to my wife about it, but I had to go.
If you guys have the time, watch a movie. It's called shit, I forgot.
Interesting title.
Good. It's called shit. I forgot.
We've got plenty of time.
Dementia story.
It's by the writer. His name is Augusto Curry, and he wrote a beautiful book. For me, it's probably the same style of book as Conversation with God, where he really made sense. And the book is, or the movie is The Dream Seller. It's on Netflix. If you have the time, watch it, people. It's like you feel like you want to write down every single line, because he's really talking about a lot of the Stoics way of thinking, but in the movie. Great stuff. You have the time, The Dream Seller by Augusto Curry, Cury.
What's that got to do with page 8, man?
Well, it's got about death in it. It's about meaning. There's a lot of these things in that movie.
It's an interesting concept, though, isn't it? To sit in your grief and.
Oh, anyway, mate, we spoke about this earlier. Cam, you and I, we spoke. I think even Chris was there. I think that death is a liberation for the Stoics. For them to have to endure life, to go through and accept all these things, death is a celebration. It's a celebration of a life well lived. Now you're going to a place where there's nothing after that anyway. And if you believe there's something after that, well, it's fantastic, because then you would have done everything you could to just go there. And so what's the problem? It's just moving on to the next thing. And if you didn't believe in anything, but you live the way of the Stoics, which is embrace all the negativity, death is the liberation from having to deal with all those negative events. You're now just free.
Yeah. Interesting. Chris, you got anything? Did you read the book?
Sorry, you glitched, mate. You glitched on that.
Say it again.
I said, Chris, you're not saying much, mate. Are you there? Did you read the
so
book?
actually December 8th, I actually wrote a fair bit on December 8th, going through grief. I find it hard to move on from grief. I get emotional thinking about people that I've lost in the past and so forth. But when I've looked into it, and what they've said is just don't think about what you've lost, but think about why you're feeling the way you're feeling instead of just about what you've lost, and look a little bit deeper into it, and actually take the time. And I don't think we give ourselves a lot of that, the ability just to sit and work out why we feel a certain way or what we want from life. Or we, as humans, I don't think we take our time to sit down and analyze our thought process on a lot of things we do, whether it's anger or grief or love or whatever it is. Why do we actually go through those emotions? We don't take the time, whether it's from grief or anything else. I actually got a lot from that page.
Yeah,
but
I
try and shelve it, mate. We try and push it to the back.
Chris, I think that it's got to do too with the fact that you are a very romantic kind of guy, and romantics love to churn on past memories. For them to be able to relive that memory, especially the good one, the one that makes them feel good, it's a gift, because they can relive life and they live through those kind of memory a much longer life. And so for you, when that kind of person leaves, well, that's the other side of the coin. You're now going to be reliving that pain and over again. That's all.
Yeah, fair call. Yeah, fair call. So yes, Cam, for 8th, I had a lot written down, mate. So yeah.
You okay, buddy?
Boom! Boom! You asked for it, mate.
I've got a lot written down. Yeah.
I think we dragged it on.
September 9th, sorry, December 9th, I've also had a lot, not a lot, but I've had a bit written down, was this spendthrifts on time. And I hadn't actually looked at it this way, that not only do we waste our time, whether it's social media or TV or doing remedial tasks or whatever it may be, is we actually don't, number one, probably invest it. And number two, we don't analyze where we're giving it. Are we giving it to the wrong people? Are we giving our time to the right people? I don't think we put enough thought into that process either, on our actual time that we have, because we don't know, we don't know when our time's up.
Yeah, but I looked at December 9th differently, Chris. And I liked how Seneca puts it. He says, if I came to your house and I was going to rob your house, how far would you go to protect yourself? If I was to come to your house and do harm to your children, how far would you go?
Yep.
And yet we allow people to come into our mind and rob us free.
Yes. Actually,
I love that.
I agree with Cam with what he said earlier about just hanging up on a conversation. No, spendthrifts of time, December 9th.
December 9th.
Yeah,
and Seneca talks about it. All right. Seneca reminds us that while we may be good at protecting our physical properties, we are far too lax at enforcing our mental boundaries, and it gets repeated afterwards.
Yeah, on December 10th, don't sell yourself too cheaply. I say, let no one rob me of a single day who isn't going to make a full return on the loss. But again, it goes into controlling who's robbing your energy, who's robbing your time, and what we're actually, are we aware that we're allowing those people? It goes back to the negativity before, turning off from negative people. But hang on, is this conversation helping me or hindering me? Am I going to get the return on my investment here or not? Which is why TL constantly hangs up the phone on.
So on those conversations, that we hang up on people, do we stop and say to the person, listen, I'm going to hang up if it's going to continue negative, I'm going to hang up?
No,
or do we just hang up and let them work it out?
No, I don't hang up. The reason I hang up, it's because sometimes hanging up is the best solution. It's the best answer. Like I can say to someone, stop being negative. Now, if it doesn't work, but hanging up does, well, what should I do? Yeah. Use the words or do the action?
But will that person get the message? Thanks, Cam. Exactly.
Depends
well,
on
if they don't get the message, you hang up again.
I remember, I mentioned before when I was real
Stop
good
hanging up on me.
Yeah. When I was real good at it years ago, I remember doing it to my mum, and I was training my mum in the gym, and my mum's an eternal.
Here you go.
She's got a lot of negative to say about a lot of people on occasion, and I had to stop her like 5 times.
But you don't. You just put your mum down. You just put your wife down.
No, I'm not putting her down. I'm just saying she likes to find an issue. She loves the drama, right? So, and we all know other people who love the drama. So, and usually when it's love the drama, it's never a positive thing. So, I remember 5 times in an hour shutting my mum down, saying, "We're not talking about it." Oh, I don't want to hear it. And that was literally the conversation. And then you say, why not? Because all you're saying is negative stuff. Well, say something good about that person. And then, so in that instance, there's no option to hang up the phone or walk away or whatever. But then by there, you're educating that person. And whether they changed or not, she changed the way she was talking to me, because we never had those negative conversations about people before. Again. So, and does that serve my purpose? Absolutely. Is my life better than that? Absolutely. If they choose to change from that, it really doesn't bother me, because as long as they're not having those negative conversations with me anymore, I don't really care.
Right.
Other people, like in the morning, if I'm doing my morning meeting and someone's being negative because everyone was at the seminar in Hornsby RSL, I just say, thanks, buddy. That's the words I use, because everyone heard about the Joy Buddy from Amanda Gore. And obviously it's a sarcastic comment when I say, thanks, Joy Buddy, but that's the cue to go, hang on, what are we talking about here? Are we adding to the world, or are we just,
that's nice. That's nice. All right, so 11 to 20.
We're all going to die.
Yeah, not a lot.
Oh, well, for me, December 13, again, Seneca is probably the antithesis of Marcus Aurelius. And he said, life is long if you know how to use it. And I think you need to sit down and you go, hold on, am I using it right? And I'm so it's forced me even to think about my life, where for the moment, most of my life being devoted into trying to help others, into trying to make sure that leaders of mine are making money, that salespeople around us are making a good living. But really, is that a good way of spending my life? So I've been forced to question that, because when I went further, I had to answer myself, am I helping my children reaching their best? Am I really spending my time wisely with my wife? Because if I go a little bit over the top, focusing on our people and our leaders, then what am I really doing? And then it's going to come up later on. I find myself committing one of the worst crimes that he actually talks about in December, but we're coming to that soon.
So uplifting. Thanks, Joy Buddy.
Hang up on me, mate. Bye, Ken.
Bye, see you, buddy. I'm emerging from the shadow.
Oh, shades. See, I knew you were big, but man,
back into the shadow.
Looks
mate, back there, I'm still big, huh?
Back into the shadow. Back into the shadow. Back.
Guy.
Move forward. Just a question that came up when I was thinking about December 19th. It says the human scale. We know we leave average, most countries, 70 to 80 to 90 years old. Do you think there'd be a big change in sort of the human drive or determination if we were to live for 200 or 500 years or even 1,000 years, would the human want to create wealth and so forth, and the Western mindset, do you think that would change if our lifespan was a lot longer? Or do you think we would just have more of the same shit?
I'd sleep for a couple of years, mate.
Hibernate.
Oh, I don't know. It's something I thought about.
Was when the life expectancy was 30 back in the prehistoric ages, was the drive different to succeed then? I don't know. If I knew I had a couple of thousand years to live, I'd be a lot less motivated, I believe.
Yeah, I think there would still be a lot of shit, but I think it would, like, the longer you've got to do anything, the longer you'll take. If you've got a deadline of tomorrow, you'll do it. If you've got a deadline of next week, you'll do it by next week. If you've got a deadline of 2 years, you'll do it by 2 years.
So we would procrastinate longer, right?
I'm
Correct.
finishing off December as we speak, so.
So on that mindset, if we had, and coming back to what Cam sort of jumped on, was if we had a shorter amount of period in our life, and we all knew we only lived to 40 or 50 years of age, do you think we would achieve a lot more in our lives than we would naturally as we are now?
Maybe we won't achieve more, but I think we will waste less.
Okay. It's a good way of putting it. Okay.
So, Mr. I know I'm gonna die. So what is then the purpose of a Stoic before he dies? Shit.
That was to you or to me, Cam? Or
No, to Cam. That's to Cam.
We're all going to die.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of a Stoic before he dies? To live his best life.
Will or drink? You answer.
No, to live his best life is probably not what a Stoic is about. That's the Epicurist.
No, well, it is. It's being the best version of yourself.
Yes, to know yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Same thing.
But again, I was doing a lot of thinking about the best version of myself because I've said it quite a few times, and when we went to Empower, that's all we heard. But really, I don't know whether chasing the best version of ourselves is the right thing. What if I'm a bad person? Should I become the better version of the bad person I am?
Yeah, but also back, not to go back to November, when it talks about comparison in November, it talks about not comparing yourself to who you once were as well. And that can be best version of yourself falls into that, because I've got a photo sitting on my wall in my office of how I looked on my wedding day, and it was a lot different to how I look now. So if I spend my life comparing to that, was that a better version of myself because I was healthier and some would say better looking, but like it's a day. The best version of yourself is open to interpretation, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that you actually the exception to the rule. The best version of yourself has gone long past. every day that it goes by, the best version seems further behind. No, it's December 17th.
Mate, our business is in safe hands, mate. Your business is in safe hands then, eh?
Well, between the friends like Connor and the Amanda, mate, it is in safe hands. Now, December 17th, I think he actually puts it in there. You need to know yourself before it's too late. And I think that is the thing. It's not about being the best version of ourselves. I think there's a difference between being the best version of ourselves and knowing ourselves, And so it's...
But isn't that in a constant state of change?
It is in the constant change. And what he's saying is you have to do it before it's too late. Many people try and go, well, first I'm going to make my fortune. I'm going to do all of this, and then I'm going to spend that. Yeah, but in the meantime, you've lost your child. The other child has gone haywire. And your wife's gone somewhere else, and your husband's left you. But now that you've got all of that, let's start focusing. Well, maybe it's good. I mean, we can't blame and we can't really chastise people having their own priorities. No. But I think, imagine if we started life as a baby knowing ourselves. Would we be doing what we do? Would we marry the person we married? I was listening to a thing the other day. I was talking about soulmates and how you meet your soulmates. Really? Do you really meet your soulmate? Because the person you are today is probably a much, much, much better version of mind-wise, okay? To the person when you were 20. So would you have picked that same partner? I mean, this is a big question. you know? So what if you started life knowing yourself?
Interesting.
All right. So
I like
what
it.
about the
I
last
like
10
it.
days? What about the last 10 days of December?
Megan, have you read the book?
Yes, Cam. I read it when I was supposed to read it.
Oh, look at this. I'm in the light.
So that's Cam trying to deflect from the fact that he hasn't read the last
No,
10
I'm
pages.
moving my desk into the light. Look at
Oh,
this.
we can't,
Oh,
we can't
I
see
have-
Kramer.
I had a thought before, Cam, when you were talking about the picture on your wall of your wedding day
yeah.
and the best version of yourself. Isn't it only you that can decide whether that's the best version of yourself?
Oh, I was fucking good looking. I was a good looking rooster.
Yes, it's him, the only one that can decide that. Yes.
I'm glad you're saying that. But isn't it on you to decide whether that is your best version of you or whether now is your better version of you? Thomas
No.
is
No,
definitely
I've known
disagreeing.
Ken for 6 years. I can guarantee you the best version is way, way gone in the past.
But you're saying it's your best version of you because you were skinnier, younger,
Yeah,
better,
what I'm saying, yeah, but that was the
drunk
best
less
version.
alcohol.
No, I didn't drink less. I
all
just trained more.
external kind of guy,
I didn't-
all external, superficial kind
I
of
didn't
guy.
drink any less. I just
Trained more.
Saying, yeah, it is on me to decide, and it can be dangerous because back then I didn't have 3 businesses, 3 kids, or any of the stuff that's going on in life now. So to put that pressure on yourself because of a photo, that's why I was saying that the comparison can be dangerous. Like, yes, I should be healthier, and yes, I should be fitter, but the Cam back then,
Priorities are different.
no, but it's something I struggle with, right? I have that photo there as a goal to one day get back to, but it's something I really, really struggle with. So I was just tying it into, who decides what the best version of you is. As Thomas said, if you're a serial killer, are you trying to be the best version of that? And,
Well, put it this way to you, Cam. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, you're in that shape where you are now.
Yeah.
Are you in the best version of yourself?
Oh, I'd be going, mate, I'd be a lot better.
No, but are you the best? No, I'm not saying that you won't be a lot better. What I'm asking is, would you still be in the best version of yourself if you had that shape at the position we are now, or is there still room to improve?
No, that's
where we get caught in that.
That was my question to
juxtaposition.
TL. It's an ever evolving thing. The best version of yourself today is going to be different to tomorrow because you're a
At
different
this point
person.
in time.
Yeah.
Listen, Cam's very different. If the
We know.
if the small size jumper
I'm glad this is a serious podcast we're doing.
Hey, when he buys a jumper, this is his mindset, right?
Can't even keep his track.
If size S is the same price as triple XL, why should I get the smaller one?
Oh, fuck you all. Except
Dumber,
you,
dumber.
mate. You've been nice to me about it. At least you're taking it seriously.
What about December 20th, guy? The fear of death.
Oh,
Well, I am scared because he spent 20 days telling us we're going to die. So
Bottoms up then.
Do you know what I fear? I've got one fear.
Queensland don't win the series.
I've got the fear of growing old and not enjoying it.
That ship sailed, my brother.
You know, I had a text today of a very good friend of mine who can't be with her parents in Belgium. And she was saying to me, Mom's really unwell, really going bad. And so I was thinking, now I know where money comes in. There's a difference between growing old poor and growing old rich. That growing old rich, you can afford a lot of other things that growing old poor, you can't. And so for me, growing old is a much, much bigger fear than dying. Hey, I welcome it anytime. It actually, if it's for a good cause, even better. But growing old, not being able to defend yourself, having idiots, um, what is it, burgle your place, and there's nothing that you can do, having to rely on people, being put into, what is it, homes, how do you call these places,
Nursing home.
Nursing homes.
No, they're not nursing home. They preparation before coffin, and so when they prepare when they prepare you for cemetery, and they totally forget how to respect and give you dignity, but now they actually taking the money from you and just feed you as if you're just an animal waiting to go to the pound, and there's that lack of respect. That's the only thing that I fear. Death, nothing.
Well, if you grow old poor, no one's going to rob you because you won't have anything.
Well, try grow old poor and you have cancer. Try that.
No, I'm good.
Okay. What's another day, guys? None? Once? Twice?
We're all gonna die.
No, I liked December 27, and I didn't highlight anything other than the heading, and it's just said, "Don't let your soul go first." And we sit here and we talk about people dying in a physical sense. We don't talk about people dying in an emotional or on the insider kind of sense. Yeah, Cam.
Yeah, don't die with the music in you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of people that while they're still living beings, they're dying slowly on the inside. They don't even realize it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, Meg.
It goes a little bit further than that. I think, Meg, and I've actually written for this. I've seen this in real life with my mum, who passed with, physically she couldn't do anything, but mentally and spiritually she was all there wanting to continue, and she just couldn't.
Yeah.
And then when I see people in the nursing home where dad is, that they are what you were saying before, Thomas. They are in God's waiting room. They are just waiting for their number to come up, and they've got nothing left. Their soul has given up, but their body just doesn't know it yet. It's very sad, and I think a lot of people will realize the shortness in life if they could see those people and just take a moment to think about that. Don't let your soul go first. Just sing your song and dance your dance. Do what you need to do.
Probably leaving it too late with the awareness.
I love it.
Not having the awareness that we're all going to die early enough.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
We all know it. You just don't think
acknowledge
of it.
You don't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And don't live your life thinking that we're all going to die. Someone asked me the other day why I keep opening real estate offices. Well, we're all going to fucking die one day, so why go out wondering? But it was a serious answer to a serious question. It was a guy who used to own real estate offices. I was at a listing appointment. He's like, "Mate, why you do it to yourself?" I said, "Well, we got one shot, mate. We're all going to leave the world. So are we going to die wondering, or are we going to give it a red hot crack?" And I think the people that are walking around as zombies.
Well said, mate.
The people that are walking around as zombies and the soul's left them, they forgot that they've got to give it a red hot crack. And that's sad, but that's the way a lot of us live. So.
Oh, well said. Anything else? Well, here it is. So I think we're going to spend maybe one of our sessions just talking about the Stoics and what we got out of it. But I have to say, I've told many people now that reading the Stoics actually has helped me in many ways, not just intellectually. Has helped me change. Like sometimes, this is probably one of the longest book I ever read. I've never read a book in 6 months, but for the first time I have. And I think that there was a very good reason. But going through a book like this in 6 months, it actually gives you 6 months to digest it. Mm. And quite often when you read a book in 2 days, you don't really digest the same amount of information. You just get in what you're ready for at that point in time. Where here, you keep on questioning the same thing. And I think having to go back to the same point every now and then, it's fantastic because it reawakened that kind of knowledge that's gone dormant again. And so it makes it much easier for you to use and change.
Yeah, it was a great exercise in exactly that. 10 pages at a time, 20 pages at a time. It lets it self-absorb. I've seen you change a fair bit over the 6 months, TL, in that you've taken, it's not the first time you read the book. No, I mean it in a serious way. It's not the first time you read the book. It's probably the third time, is it?
Yes, the fourth time there.
Fourth time.
Yeah.
And it's probably the first time you've taken a lot of it on board, and you've really challenged yourself in a philosophical sense, and I've noticed it, counted by the amount of times the phone hangs up. So well done.
So we'll talk more about this book. Until then,
Awesome.
switch off.
Peace out.
See you guys.